Hey YouTube, Koolice here, and it may not be news to my subscribers that I love to draw the Powerpuff Girls. Like, that's my thing for this channel, and some other things once in a blue, but this is what I mostly do with my time. So, recently, I've been drawing them more realistically and stuff. Like, let me see if I can find a picture like this. You saw a steeping of this and this. Well, everyone kept saying they're too creepy, so I just kind of stopped that. Not in the comments, my friends would say it's too creepy. So I just kind of like stopped drawing them like that. I even drew Buttercup, but I kind of just stopped. So now I have a new thing I'm going to do. This one's kind of creepy. I can tell why this one's creepy. Well, what I'm going to do, recently I've been more into fashion, like this and this. I've been into looking at these clothing, that Pop Girl fashion designs, and I got inspiration to make my own fashion designs. So, I'm going to show you some it's going to start like this. I'm going to show you the concepts, then I'm going to show you the speed paint. So I started with the concept. I originally wanted to draw Blossom as a little girl because the Power Girls are children. So I wanted to draw her fashion design as a little girl. But then I got inspiration to draw her as an adult. So then I kind of drew her like this, in like a little Bratz or Barbie looking outfit. But I didn't like it because it didn't look runway. It didn't look kind of runway-ish. It looked kind of like, I don't know how you put it. Like, it looked like too much like a Bratz character, so I wanted to do my own thing. So I created this concept. She has this shirt's going to be pink, and it's going to have sakura petals everywhere. And I'm going to show you the speed paint. So I ended up taking a picture of my concept drawing, and I started tracing it so it can be easier. I realized I made the waist too high up, so later on I kind of lowered the waistline a little bit. But the hardest part for me was trying to draw the sakura blossoms onto the skirt, because the skirt kind of flares out a little bit. I wanted to give, first of all, let's talk about the body shape. I wanted to give her a rectangular body shape, because I imagine Blossom to be tall, slender, but not much of a shape. Because let's admit, not every girl in the world is gonna have this small, petite hourglass body shape. So I wanted her to have not too shapeless, but stick-like, natural looking, but like just straight down and tall. So some people are shaped like that. They're tall with not much of a body, not much of a shape, but they're thin and tall with long, pretty legs. So I decided to draw her like that. And her shirt was based off of a shirt I saw on the internet that had lace all over it. Not lace all over it, but had a lace top. And the skirt was based off little kids' dresses where you see little pretty ruffles on it. So the hardest part was to put the flowers on there, because I didn't want to draw the flowers. I wanted to put the flowers on there with like a stamp. The stamp option. Mommy, I'm recording. Yeah. So the sakura blossoms, I had to make different shades of pink so it looks like I have shadows all over it, but I didn't want to mess up the flowers, so I just kept stamping different shades of pink flowers. I was just gonna put flowers on it, but I put like a stem behind it to look like she has a garden growing in her skirt. Because when I think of Blossom's name, her name means like cherry blossoms, like a flower. You think of Blossom, you think of flowers and blooms and stuff like that. Plus, in Pop Girls, I also want to keep her red bow because and I looked at behind the scenes of Pop Girls. They said Blossom's design was she had the bow because it signifies she's the leader of the group. It's the crown that signifies she's in charge. So I wanted to keep the bow. And also I gave her a long tail in the back of the dress because the dress just like this look kind of like a little girlish, look too much like a little girl. So I wanted to give her the back to make it look more fashionable and blah blah blah. You get the point. So let me finish up this drawing as a speed paint, whatever you want to call it. It's almost done anyway. So here's the finished picture of Blossom in her cherry blossom dress. Next we're going to do Bubbles. I am going to admit, Bubbles was a tough one. I could not figure out for the life of me what to make her dress look like. Originally I had like a short jumpsuit, but I wanted to get Bubbles. I looked at the description of Bubbles and what her design looks like. They gave her a round pigtails to signify she's cute and sweet and innocent. So I wanted to also to signify she's cute and round pigtails. I gave her a plus size body, chubby, round, cute. But it's hard for me to design clothes on plus size bodies because you usually don't see that much. When you do see them, it's kind of hard to find a plus size outfit that you see in fashion designs. In my opinion, they don't really look that good unless you... And it's usually very expensive, so I couldn't really reference myself. So I tried to give her like a cute jumpsuit looking outfit, like to kind of see it in the sketch, but I kind of scrapped that idea because it didn't really... I thought it would make her look too big or too weird. I gave her, then I tried to do like a dress with bubbles on it, like a short dress with bubbles, but then I asked my mom for advice. My mom said, do something that shows off her curves a little bit. So I gave her this long dress. It's kind of like backwards. I don't know how to fix this, but it's upside down. The picture's upside down. But I gave her a long dress with bubbles all over it. So let's get to the speed paint. So Bubbles, this is the upside right side up picture. So Bubbles, so I traced her picture, but first I gave the bubbles. Not the bubbles was the key part. I'm gonna have a hard time drawing, so I drew the bubbles first. But then I realized I have to color in the bottom to make the bubbles pop out. So I drew a certain part of the dress blue, and added the bubbles. The hardest part was to make the bubbles stand out with the blue. So I had to add white bubbles, lighter blue bubbles, paler blue bubbles. It was annoying. But I got it. I got the bubble design. Then another part was her dress. I wanted her dress to be white to make the bubbles pop out. So I wanted to give her fuzzy scrunchies in her hair, but I didn't match the bubble theme, so I turned it into like bubble scrunchies. So also I planned to give that little swiggle design on her dress to be glitter, but instead I used bubble bead brush to make it look more bubblish. So I used the bubble glitter to look like it's like beads, like pretty twinkly beads on the dress. I used the glitter later on for like the smaller parts of the dress. You have a pretty fair skin. And I gave her like a little shawl that goes around her arms, and I made it look puffy because bubbles are round and puffy, full of air. So I gave her like supposed to be, I don't know how you say that. Yeah, a shawl that's very balloon-like. Imagine if you had like a pillowcase but filled with stuffing and you put it around your body. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. But it's a pretty pillowcase. So here's the finished version of Bubbles. She's sweet, she's cute, she's a little seductive look on her face. I didn't want to change that, so yeah. Now next is Buttercup. Okay, I'll admit Buttercup is also a tough one, but I only had one concept because I knew exactly what I wanted. I just didn't draw the other ones because in my head it didn't look right. Like I had one with her in a beanie, I had one with her like gangster pants looking. but I wanted her to be more fashionable. So I gave her angles because also looked up Buttercup's design, and they said her hair was supposed to be sharp with angles, to signify she's a tough one, she's a tomboy, she's edgy. So I tried to play on that role and give her sharp edges everywhere in her design. So I'm going to admit, Buttercup, as I was drawing Buttercup, wasn't really sure of the design after that, but I loved it anyway, so I kept going with it. But there's one thing I didn't really like about the design, how plain it was. I didn't realize how plain it was until after I finished coloring it in. But after I did the drawing, I added some more details to her design, more gold, more black, maybe some other things to add to it. And I gave her sunglasses, and I wanted to look badass because Buttercup is badass. And I didn't notice, but it's a very 80s looking look. She looks like she's from the 80s. And I love that more because the 80s has some funky looking clothes in the 80s. She's like an 80s spy. And I'm not mad about it, it just looks really cool like that. Her boots have rings around them, have chains. All that gold stuff is chains. Like anything I didn't look like it, but if I ever create the outfit, actually, I'm never going to, but if I ever do, this is going to be all chains and gold buttons and gold everything. She has some gold earrings on her, in her ears. That didn't come out like that. So here's Buttercup's full design. This is like the plain version. You see what I mean by it's plain? Like the boots were nice, just not the outfit. So I kind of glamored it up a little bit. Before, after, before, after, before, after. So now that you saw all the designs, next week, pretty much, I think it's going to be next week, I'm going to upload a video about how I made the Rowdy Rough Boys fashion designs. I'm going to do boy fashion designs. I think it's going to be interesting. And my cat is spazzing out. So anyway, and if you have a fan-made PowerPuff Girl you want me to draw into a design, I would love to draw a fan-made PowerPuff Girl. Because everyone has their OCs, so I might draw your OC. So yeah, stay cool, stay breathing, peace out, have a wonderful day. Bye!